This is another example. I don't know, maybe it's more beautiful to look at it. So there are data sources, ERP, legacy system, POS, OLTP systems, or external data. Yeah, this is called ETL process, where you are selecting the data, extracting the data from the different system, transforming it into one, integrating it, and loading the data to the enterprise data warehouse. So basically, uh, ERP may have their own data. You may have manual data. You may have point of sales. You may have external data, which is may not be the real data, and or you may get the data from your unstructured data. For example, your senses, your touch, your heat, your other type of data, right? So what has happened is, once that all the data is collected, it goes to a staging area for ETL process, which is called selecting the data from every mart, extracting it, transforming it into a same format, because the format of the data, it can be different in each of the different softwares. So you have to transform them into one, and then you have to integrate the data from all the different systems into one, and then load into the enterprise data warehouse. And then there is a term called metadata, means data about the data, which is describing the information into more greater details, which we will learn later on. And then there is usually a replication, because you always need to have a backup of your main database, right? Then there are two options. One option is either you use the data mart, means data mart for marketing, for engineering, for finance, for many other departments, or you don't have a data mart option, but directly accessing it through the reportings, through the data mining, through the dashboards, through the specific built application. So how you access the data is can be in two different ways. One is through the data marts, or it can be directly without the data mart, directly accessing via the dashboards, via the data mining, via the customer build application. So this is the another overview of the data warehouse, how the data is flowing into your systems. So now you can start to imagine whatever systems you are using, what they are doing on the back end. So they are collecting the data from different sources. They are putting into a data warehouse. So some small systems, we will be learning the topology later on. That some systems, maybe there are separate servers, separate database, or they may not have separate database. Maybe there's all built into one application. For example, like anybody is using this O books. What is that called book? um, I forgot the name of the accounting software, which is very popular here. Open Books. Um, that's a software, so you can use it in your laptop. So that has the system to generate the reports. That is the same system for collecting the reports, and that's the same system for data warehouse as well. So depending on the size of the data, you may be using big servers, or you can be using just a one normal small laptop. It can be either way. So that's what we're gonna learn later on. Okay. So the characteristics of the data warehouse is that it's subject oriented. Means that we normally segregate the data by the subject to enable individuals to make decision support. Right? Not like every data is the whole data is available to everybody. It's all subject oriented and need to know basis. So the sales data, salesperson, whatever data he need, he just only getting access to that particular data, not to entire data. Then it's integrated, right? All the different sources should be consistent. The data entry should be consistent. The naming convention should be consistent. If they are not consistent in different systems, then normally there has to be a process which will integrate everything into one, right? Let's say I give you an example. In the name of the companies can be different in the CRM, in the sales, in the finance system. There are sometimes characteristics. I mean, the units are different. Maybe some system is in MMK, some system can be US dollar, So when you are putting into a data warehouse, you have to integrate it to the same level. You cannot say, it's $1 and 1000 chart is equal to 1 unit. So that's not going to be. You have to make it integrated, and it's need to be able to give you a time when the transaction happened. So warehouse normally have a historical record to be able to analyze the on a time basis, like on for the month of April, for the month of March, for the month of June, for the month of, or by dates or by time. So there's normally a time series stamping of the date and the time when the data is entered into the data warehouse. It's very, very important. The other characteristic of a good data warehouse is that it's non-volatile. Non-volatile database means once you enter the data into the data warehouse, you cannot change it. Otherwise, the integrity of the data is gone, right? For example, many accounting systems, they allow you to change the, let's say you have finished this year for 2022 to 2020-21, right? You have finished the data already, you have done the P&L, you have already submitted to the bank. Now, some systems will not allow you to go back into 2019 and change anything. Some systems allow you to go back and change the data which you have entered backdated. Now, if the data is allowing you to change, what will happen? You are losing the integrity, because whatever reports you have changed in the past will affect the future reports as well, which means that all your reports which you have submitted to the government, to the warehouse, the decisions you have already made are useless. So the good data warehouse is non-volatile. Once the data is entered, it cannot be changed. And it's relational, multi-dimensional. All the data, because it may have different tables, different dimensions, it has to be relational. There has to be a relationship between the data or tables. So that we will discuss relational and multidimensional. We will discuss in the future. And there has to be a metadata. So what is the meaning of metadata? The metadata meaning is the data about the data. For example, uh, metadata about a person is what? How you identify a person? You identify the person by name. You identify the person by their village. You identify the person by their father's name, by their grandfather's name, by the address that they have. So metadata about us. Identification. Yeah. So metadata about us is that we are, that we, what is our sex, what is our date of birth, what is our name, what is our address. That's the metadata about me, right? Data about me. So that is the same concept goes with the data. So for example, if you have amount, now you need to provide the information about this amount column. This is in dollars or this is in mmk, this is in thousands or this is an absolute value, right? Are we allowing the decimals into this data, or we are not allowing the decimals into this column? So these are the information about the each and every table. There is an information. So for example, about the name, are we allowing the characters or what kind of characters are allowed? How many maximum characters are allowed, right? So it's like you can call it like a property about the each and every row in your Excel file. If you use the conditional formatting or the formatting, you right click on the any Excel cell and then it will give you a choice about the formatting, the date, the number. So basically it's about that, right? So that is the meaning of metadata.